Under the murderous glacier, a Russian nuclear submarine is training, but an accident happened. Submarine sonar suddenly alerts A.U.S. Virginia-class nuclear submarine, approaching them at top speed, facing the invading enemy. The captain immediately took evasive measures. Load all the torpedoes and be ready. Don't wait until deployment is complete. U.S. nuclear submarines strike preemptively. The captain quickly released the decoy bombs and launched a torpedo to counterattack. Didn't expect. The enemy torpedo bypassed the bait. A short distance of 400 meters. It's too late to escape. When everyone is in despair, the enemy's torpedo weapon actually disappeared, as if it had never appeared. What's even weirder is, when an enemy submarine is about to be hit, also disappeared without a trace. The astonished crowd looked confused. Although I am puzzled, but the sub and the brothers are safe and sound. The captain then lifted the combat status, order to shut down torpedo system. But even if you beat the stop button like crazy, the weapon system is unresponsive. Everyone was extremely surprised. The torpedo just launched at the US submarine. He actually turned around and attacked them. This time the miracle didn't happen. The violent explosion destroyed the submarine instantly. None of the hundreds of officers and soldiers were spared. With the sinking of the submarine, a storm is coming. America in 3 months. CIA agent Ethan. Receive urgent tasks assigned by superiors. Intelligence reveals former CIA agent. Also his sweetheart Ilsa, because of a special key, being offered a high price by intelligence organizations of various countries. Ethan's mission this time is to go to the Arabian desert to find Ilsa. Try to get the key. Ethan didn't dare delay at all. He followed the bounty hunter all the way, find the abandoned village where Ilsa is hiding. But just when he reminded Ilsa, accidentally discovered by a bounty hunter. Fortunately, a storm swept through. Ethan quickly took advantage of the chaos and ran towards the village. Ilsa set up a sniper rifle to provide fire support, reduce the number of enemies. With the tacit cooperation of the two, Ethan relies on his accurate marksmanship. Break out of the siege like a god of war. Ilsa kills the sneak attack enemy, only slightly injured, nothing serious. The two of them just decided to use their tactics together. Put a corpse, pour gasoline on, create the illusion that Ilsa is dead. In this way, he can be protected. A week after the two separated, inside the CIA headquarters building, a high-level meeting is being held urgently. It turned out that just a few months ago, they monitor and steal intelligence from various countries, developed a computer virus called Entity. Just when the plan was a big success, Entity lost control and invaded the Arab intelligence agency, stealing a super artificial intelligence, gain the ability to learn and think independently, get rid of CIA control completely. Entity will modify digital information. Any information recorded in digital form may be tampered with. With the exponential growth of global intrusion incidents, NASA Federal Bank, Wall Street stock market, and key government departments all suffered varying degrees of blows from the plasmid. According to information display, countries are looking for 2 keys. Merge the 2 keys together. You can control the entity, then control the intelligence systems of various countries and dominate the world. Establish a new world hegemony. Ethan already has half of the keys, and the bearer of the other half of the key will pass through an airport in the Middle East in a few days. The CIA director immediately ordered, get the key at all costs. Anyone who obstructs can be shot to death. And at this very moment, Deputy Director Eugene's assistant handed over the box. Eugene opened it with a puzzled look on his face. Found to be a miniature gas mask. I suddenly realized something was wrong. Everyone except Eugene was knocked unconscious. Wait until he looks up and takes a closer look. The assistant turned out to be Ethan pretending to be. After Ethan heard the top management's plan, knowing such a terrifying body, no one should be allowed to take control, even if you are charged with treason. He also wants to collect the keys and destroy the entity. At this time the guard called. Eugene called support, but when he was secretly happy, he hung up the phone. Ethan has already thought of a way to escape. A few days later, a US military base in the Middle East. Agent John was ordered to hunt down Ethan. At this moment, Ethan already summoned teammates Benji and Luther. The next covert operation is being deployed. A lighter is a radiation technology instrument, can detect the unique numerical value on the key. Glasses with augmented reality capabilities can display key location in real time. Ethan doesn't intend to steal the key. Instead, you have to sell the key to the other party, then secretly follow you all the way. Find out how to use the key. Just as the 3 people started taking action, John's team has also assembled at the airport. Voice-based intelligence system. Ethan was quickly identified and targeted. John leads the team across the airport. The catchable target is not Ethan. John pulled it down. Realized being tricked. My heart went cold for a moment. It turns out that Luther was already prepared for this. He hacked into the airport surveillance system. Just move your fingers. Any man in the airport can turn into Ethan at any time, keeping the CIA busy. And at this time, Ethan has successfully found the key bearer. Unexpectedly, it only took a blink of an eye. The key on the man's body is missing. Ethan immediately realized, there must be a master nearby who stole the key. Look around. The key is currently in the waist of a beautiful woman. Luther immediately pulled up his information. The woman's name is Sophie. The criminal record is simply jaw-dropping. What's even more annoying is, at this time, on Benji's computer screen, Security system alert pops up suddenly. Package suspected of containing bomb escapes airport security. With Luther's remote help, Bangui rushed to relieve the risk. Ethan quickly intercepted the woman. A brief moment of contact. He took the key back from Sophie. After a few minutes, the flight is about to take off. Once a man discovers that his keys have been stolen, then the whole plan would be in vain. Sophie sees that Ethan is very talented. All you have to do is be obedient and return the key. The two of them had no idea what was happening at the airport. Someone has been secretly controlling it for a long time. At this time Benji found the package. Open it and take a look. It suddenly made him break into a cold sweat. Things in the bag. Looks like a small nuclear bomb. There are 8 turntables on the nuclear bomb. Each turntable is engraved with 14 letters. A total of 1.5 billion password combinations. It is simply difficult to crack in a short period of time. Just when he was at a loss, the bomb display suddenly lights up. Just answer 8 brain teasers. The nuclear bomb countdown will stop. Life-threatening moment. Such a ridiculous bomb disposal. Simply speechless. Inside the terminal on the other side, Sophie rushes before the flight takes off. Found the man in the waiting area. But I never expected it. The man has been half killed. And the keys Sophie stole were also fake. The bomb that Benji went to great lengths to open. But there's nothing inside. Ethan realized something was wrong. Take Sophie away from the scene immediately. It seems someone is using this to create chaos. To fish in troubled waters and steal the key. To avoid being hunted by the CIA. Ethan takes Sophie to hide in a store. In a dazed moment, Sophie suddenly disappeared behind her. The keys in his pocket were also taken away by him. Ethan just wanted to chase him. But suddenly he saw Gabriel, the enemy who killed his wife. Since Gabriel committed murder and absconded 7 years ago, Ethan has been searching hard. Now he appears again. Must be very dangerous. Ethan quickly informed Luther and Benji to retreat. He climbed up to the terminal building, trying to catch Sophie's flight. CIA headquarters on the other side. In order to avoid the threat of entity, deliberately activating Cold War-era satellites, working with analog signals, and lock Sophie in the first place, waiting for Sophie to land in Italy. Rome police received the message. He was arrested and detained directly at the airport. Seeing something bad is happening, Sophie lied and said it was not her on the passport. In his hand, he took the opportunity to take away a pin. When he was thinking about how to escape, a lawyer appears out of nowhere. Defend him by naming him. It turns out that Sophie's front foot was taken away. Ethan then disguised himself as a lawyer and followed him. Sophie is not a fuel-efficient lamp. He picked a man on the plane. I asked for my phone number first, then sneak the key into the man's pocket. After escaping from the police station, just pretend to have an affair with a man. Then you can get the keys back and hand them over to your employer. A reward of 10 million is easily available. By the time John and his people arrived for the handover, Ethan and the two have long since disappeared. And Ethan, who thought he had the key, but once again underestimated Sophie's cunning. He suddenly shouted that he had been molested. A group of tough men couldn't bear to see a beautiful woman being bullied. He immediately stepped forward and surrounded Ethan. Sophie came to the door quickly. He just grabbed a police car and started escaping. Ethan, who arrived later, was helpless. I can only steal the motorcycle. Although Sophie's plan is perfect, but his terrible driving skills are really bad. The female killer is extremely cruel. Seeing that Sophie is about to be kidnapped, Ethan takes action in time to kill his younger brother. Until this moment, only then did Sophie realize that she had gotten into a big trouble. John, who had always been one step late, finally seized the opportunity. Force Ethan to submit. It was originally a good opportunity for promotion and salary increase. The next second, a car of special police officers rushed out, mistook them for terrorists. The situation at the scene suddenly became tense. But the gangster won't explain to you. The female killer attacked from behind and killed the special police officer. He took away the rifle and started killing, taking advantage of the indistinguishable gun battle between the two sides. Ethan took Sophie and stepped on the gas pedal, trying to leave and get the keys. The killer was unambiguous when he saw this. After dealing with the last SWAT officer, go straight to the car. Armored vehicles are invincible and rampage. In desperation, Sophie used the brake as the accelerator, hit a motorcycle parked on the roadside. Embarrassed, he gave up the driving seat. The experienced Ethan is really awesome. Narrow Roman street, facing the police's desperate pursuit and interception. Ethan takes it calmly and without any pressure. Various tail drifts opened Sophie's eyes. The two hid the car under an arch. I plan to change my car to hide it from the public. The mobile phone shows that the safety car is not far away. I thought it was a handsome Porsche. Unexpectedly, a small yellow electric machine popped out. The two of them had a good time in the car, finally managed to get the car started. However, the high-definition cameras on the roadside still exposed their location. More and more police join the hunt. The killer also got the news from the radio. The situation becomes increasingly dangerous. The two were soon blocked in an alley. He was about to be crushed to pieces by an armored vehicle. Ethan turns on the strongest horsepower, swerving suddenly when a collision is imminent, breaking into a passage without any risk. The female killer was so angry that she became furious instantly. Two people reversing the car quickly, finally stopped in the subway tunnel. Ethan is used to big scenes. I wanted to comfort the frightened Sophie. Unexpectedly, Sophie gave him a surprise backhand. With the backs of his hands cuffed, he could only watch Sophie leave. No way. Don't wait for him to pry open the handcuffs. The roar of the subway comes roaring. Last moment. Ethan unscrewed the steering wheel and escaped. Been around the world for many years. This is the first time I've been teased like this. Sure enough, beautiful women are dangerous. Fortunately, he is not fighting alone. Luther and Benji rush to Rome. He also brought Ilsa, whom he missed so much. For people came to a safe house. Based on the information collected by the class, there will be a party at the Duke's Palace in Rome. We'll be carrying stolen keys. Meet the black market arms dealer White Widow. By then the White Widow will have collected the keys. At the same time, Luther was screened. Clues found in airport surveillance video. All images of Gabriel under surveillance. There are hidden traces of real-time processing. But on a mirror in the mall, the careful Luther still found clues to Gabriel. It seems that everything that has happened so far, it's all controlled by Gabriel behind the scenes. Ilsa heard and told the truth. Gabriel actually serves Entity. The reason why he wanted to steal the key. I want to remove the only weakness of Entity. Once you get it, the consequences will be disastrous. That's why he took the lead. Steal one of the keys. If you want to defeat Gabriel, you have to think like a machine, becoming ruthless and logical. And this is exactly Ethan's weakness. My beloved Ilsa is by my side, but Ethan always has an ominous premonition. When Ethan and Ilsa arrived in the evening, Gabriel and the female killer have been waiting for a long time. Sophie takes the key and waits for the transaction with her employer, the White Widow. Sophie never expected. The White Widow forcefully searched her body as soon as she arrived. The promised 10 million was not mentioned at all. He realized that once he handed over the keys, he is very likely to become cannon fodder. So when the bodyguard approached, he slipped the key into his pocket, and Ethan sees everything. Can't find the key yet. White Widow can only invite everyone upstairs to negotiate. Ethan reveals the horror of Entity. I hope White Widow puts the overall situation first. Give up the idea of working with Gabriel, but I never expected it. Rather than offending several superpowers, White Widow is more afraid of Entity's revenge. Supercomputing power of hundreds of kilograms per millisecond. Not only can it manipulate the minds of billions of people, can also analyze every cause and effect relationship, convert all results into probability plots, show the most likely outcome. This means to some extent, Entity even has the ability to predict the future. Gabriel threatens the White Widow. Sophie and Ilsa must die tonight. This will be a heavy blow to Ethan. After that, Gabriel left in a big way. Witness by is responsible for greeting people. Ethan tells Ilsa to run away as far as possible, then sees the opportunity to create chaos. Ilsa understands. Put down a few guys. Leave the scene quickly. Sophie took the dagger from the table. Wait for the bodyguard to approach and stop him from leaving. He took the key back. At this time, Ethan just threw the bodyguard to the ground. Only then did I realize that the key in my pocket had been taken away by Sophie, because there were security blocks along the way. Even though Ethan is extremely brave, finally lost Sophie. We can only ask for support from the duo outside the field. Russian satellite provides real-time navigation for Ethan, but Entity's attack speed is too fast. The communication system was quickly hacked. Entity pretends to be Bangui and issues an error message. Not only did Ethan completely lose track of Sophie, still stuck in the narrow aisle, facing the killer's attack from both sides. Ethan is worried but can't get rid of it. In desperation, I can only fight with all my strength. The female killer goes straight to the gate of life. The beating made Ethan unable to resist for a while, but there is a gap in strength between the two after all. Ethan, who had regained his composure, immediately counterattacked. The female killer thought she was going to die here, but Ethan doesn't want to kill. Let them go and leave quickly. On the river arch bridge at this time, Sophie runs into Gabriel while escaping. With no way to escape, he decisively showed his dagger and fought. But how can a weak woman be the opponent of a strong man? Soon both daggers were knocked off. In dire straits, just when Sophie was about to be brutally murdered, Ilsa actually appeared behind me. As an agent, his strength should not be underestimated. Fighting with Gabriel is inseparable, but as the battle gradually intensified, Ilsa's decline is gradually emerging. He was injured in many places and was unable to fight anymore. Unfortunately, Gabriel caught the opportunity and killed him with a knife. By the time Ethan arrives at the archbridge, Gabriel has long since escaped without a trace. Only Ilsa's cold body remains. Too late to be sad. Ethan learns that the White Widow gave up on the deal with Gabriel, on the Orient Express to Innsbruck instead, reached a cooperation with a mysterious man. In previous encounters, Ethan sees Sophie's potential, so he persuaded him to join the operation. Maybe Ilsa's death made Sophie feel guilty. Without much hesitation, he agreed. Follow Ethan's plan. Using fake headgear, Sophie wants to pretend to be the White Widow. Ethan went there pretending to be a bodyguard. Once you get the key, leave as quickly as possible. But there are always surprises. The machine broke down while making the mask. Sophie must complete the task alone. Ethan thought of other ways to get in the car and pick him up. After 1 hour, the train departs on time. The killer sneaks into the train first. He went straight to the cargo bay and killed the watchman, then opened the box placed in advance. Release Gabriel hiding inside. Gabriel locked the iron door of the warehouse. Then he went straight to the front cockpit of the car. Cruelly, he killed the driver. First, smash the brake device. Speed up the train again. A hard hammer. Eliminate the possibility of slowing down. At the same time, White Widow returns to the box. Be prepared to take a short break and wait for buyers. She just walked in the door. Then she bumped into Sophie, who was pretending to be her. Don't wait for White Widow's reaction. A shot of anesthetic made her fall asleep instantly. Sophie quickly took the key. Get into the zone before Ethan does. The buyer just arrived at this time. I didn't expect this mysterious boss. It was Eugene, the deputy director of the CIA. In order not to reveal your identity, Sophie tries to get rid of the bodyguards and proposed the terms of the transaction to Eugene. He took out his passport. Lie that you admire the person's abilities. I hope the U.S. government can provide comprehensive protection. Such a simple condition. Of course, Eugene didn't refuse at all. See the cross key on the table. He generously agreed to pay $100 million. All Sophie needs to do now is take the money and leave. You can escape whole body. Enjoy life. But when the transfer is about to be completed, he suddenly remembered Ethan's parting words. Not because of personal selfish interests. Give the whole world to the devil. When he woke up, he refused to transfer money, pretend to shake hands with Eugene and leave in a hurry. In fact, he repeated the same trick and stole the key, until the real White Widow arrives. Only then did Eugene realize that he had been tricked. So he ordered his men to chase him quickly. And in the box on the other side, the CIA's top leader actually ended up personally. In his conversation with Gabriel, the truth behind the silence of Russian submarines finally became clear. It turns out that the most basic version of Entity, it was he who approved the infiltration into the submarine. Originally I just wanted to monitor the movements of submarines. Unexpectedly, Entity suddenly lost control, disobeying instructions and exceeding tasks. Now I want to completely control Entity. We must get the original code of the plastid on the submarine. The original code is locked in the submarine's data center. Must be opened with a key to retrieve the exact location of the submarine. He alone knows. The director tries to win over Gabriel for cooperation. Once you let him control the Entity, we'll get rid of all enemies. Ascend to the throne of president. Let Entity be combined with military industry. Conquer the world easily. The director thought he played a good hand. Little did they know that Gabriel was no ordinary gangster. The female killer showed mercy because of Ethan's mercy. It also made Gabriel feel murderous. There was a fierce fight between the two in the box. Female killer fights to the death. But in the end, I was not spared. And at this time, the male protagonist Ethan also rides a motorcycle wildly on the mountain road, because Gabriel made the train speed up, causing him to miss the best pickup point. Now we can only follow the instructions of the class. Ride all the way to the top, until the cliff blocks the way, although he has a paraglider in his backpack. But the height of the cliff seems not enough. But time is running out. Ethan found a smooth path. Increase your horsepower and rush forward with all your strength. Ethan has excellent psychological quality. Successfully opened parachute at extreme altitude, sliding towards the oncoming train. It just so happened that Sophie was being hunted and was desperate. He fell from the sky and was instantly resolved. Despite the near miss, Sophie was saved. The key that I finally got. But Gabriel on the side took advantage of him. Ethan asks Sophie to control the speed of the train. He chased up the roof of the car and grabbed the keys. Enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. Both of Ethan's loved ones died at the hands of Gabriel. All the anger breaks out at this moment. Every punch vents anger. Gabriel saw that he was no match. Quickly pull out the dagger from your back, but still lost in the fight. When great revenge is avenged, the haunting John appears. They ignored Ethan's explanation. He must give up resistance and surrender. I don't want to be in this chaotic moment. Gabriel escapes. John and I are both talented people. I had no idea that I had done something wrong. Fortunately, Ethan took the trouble to explain. Finally let them understand the ins and outs, and follow Ethan's advice to evacuate the passengers. And just above the stone bridge not far away, already loaded with a time bomb by Gabriel, the proud Gabriel would not have thought, when Ethan was fighting with him, the key has been quietly stolen long ago. I also left him a lighter as a souvenir. The train was completely out of control at this time. Ethan immediately decided to disconnect the locomotive. Hope can turn the tide, save lives. Why is it that the time left to him is too short? The two of them ran with all their strength. Jump before the carriage falls. It can be considered as saving one's life for the time being, but with the support of train inertia, the carriage still slides towards the cliff. Very dangerous. As the carriage tipped over, hot oil spilled in the kitchen. Let them walk with difficulty. What's even more difficult is, gas also suddenly leaked. If the two of them weren't fast enough, now consumed by flames, death to hell, the two experienced countless dangers. I was already exhausted when I climbed into the passenger compartment. Sophie was so scared that her legs became weak. It's all supported by Ethan alone. He was about to fall and be shattered into pieces. The female killer came miraculously. He tried his best to successfully helped Ethan and Sophie escape danger. The killer was loyal but was brutally murdered, so rebelled. When Ethan asked him for information, he told everything about the submarine. Ethan suddenly realized, the next step is to find out where the submarine is. Entity crisis can be easily solved, but the most important thing right now is to leave in time. Avoid being arrested by the CIA, because the paraglider is only suitable for one person. Sophie took the initiative to stay and delay. Wait until John and the two arrive in a hurry. Ethan is no longer within shooting range of his pistol. Deputy Director Eugene did not blame Sophie. Instead, I appreciate his outstanding abilities. Invite him to join Ethan's team and officially join the Mission Impossible team. Ethan met the class at the bottom of the mountain. Start planning your next move. A battle between humans and entities is about to begin.